yun ang last na topic ko, yung face-to-face. But it just so happen na need ninyo ang time, no, for the sa inyong kuan. Okay. Tapping, sunod dili na matulog, ha? Okay. So need ninyo ang time, no, for the microbio. Yes, kay dili kulang, even the 3 hours is kulang yun na siya for microbio, no. So mo na nga when Ma'am Flora asked for your time, so I'm just so lang yun, consider it to give the time, no, kay kabalo gyud ko, because I'm also teaching microbio for many years, and mo na siya dili should dalim, even 4 hours is kulang, no, ang time. Okay, so let us continue with the discussion on the ponds and lake ecosystem. So we are done with biomes. We will now go to the freshwater and marine ecosystem. Tapos na tayo sa terrestrial, yung 6 ecosystems in the terrestrial. So we will proceed to
matulog ka.
Ledesma. We will proceed, okay, later na lang nako i-check, ha. So we will proceed directly to the ponds and the lake ecosystem. So let me share my screen.
Nag-glass dito. Paghilom.
Klaro siya?
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes po. Okay, so we have here the ponds or the fresh ecosystems, no? And that includes ponds, lakes, yung mga rivers, streams, no? So those are example of freshwater ecosystems, mga mud puddles, no? Okay, so in this ecosystem, the limiting factor is salinity, meaning the salt content, no? The salt content in this is less than 0.5 parts per thousand, or minsan zero, no? Wala talagang salt concentration. But in some mga naagday salt concentration, but very very tolerable, no, gamay kaayo siya, only less than 0.5 parts per thousand. Okay, so lake are the deepest of the freshwater systems, no. So daghan mga lakes nga makita nato, no, in other parts of the countries, no, nga dagdag ilang mga lakes kay murag dagat, no. Even in the Philippines, we have the Laguna Divide, no? It's a lake, and Taal, no, the Taal Lake, no. So those are mga kuan, and sometimes lakes are found on the vent of volcanoes like the Pinatubo.
Paghilom ba?
Okay, so naay lake, no, sa ibabaw sa Pinatubo, and even in Mount Apo, no, the Lake of Venado, no. So but these lakes are mapuno lang to sila nga lake og tubig kung naay ulan, pero kung wala, no, dry, no, ang area. Okay. So, but in other countries, no, like in the US, no, daghan sila mga lakes dito. So their lakes are, even during summer, still their lakes are very kanang lalum, no. Ang lakes are gitawag sila nga deepest of the freshwater systems, and they are sometimes fed by underground steam or stream, no? So, and ponds, on the other hand, are fed by rainfall and may be seasonal. Okay, so those are example of freshwater ecosystems. So in the pond, Okay? There are what we call mga microscopic animals and algae that are present. No? Uh, Yesterday, when we had our uh, yung mga fresh yung protozoa, no, nagtingin kami sa mga protists, no, microorganisms that are found in the pond waters, no. So marami kaming nakita. We kita namin itong diatoms, no, ito yung mga paramecium, no. So these are mga zooplanktons, okay. uh, so I think I have posted, no, yung nakita nyo are paramecium, and napod mi nakita nga wala lang napadala. Napod mi nakita aside from this paramecium, na mi nakita nga protist, the pygastrum duplex, no, it's an algae, and so those are kita siya sa pond. Okay. So, kung sa pond, na, sun can reach the bottom. No? So, ang sun makapenetrate siya sa bottom. So, ponds are being fed by rainfall and maybe seasonal. No? So, at this time, ang pond, tubig, laay po'y time nga uga po siya, no? Kay walay tubig. Okay. So, what are the photosynthetic organisms that can be found in ponds? We have algae and plants, no, throughout. So, pwede ang plants mutubo, no, center sa pond or sa iyahang kilid sa pond. So, then, uh, what are the abiotic factors, no, in lakes and ponds? So, the lakes, for example, nada siya gitawag na to nga littoral zone. So, ng littoral zone, no? That is the area where mahubsan, okay, at point in time mahubsan siya, no, napoy time nga makuan siya kanang na mabutangan siya og tubig. Kung sa dagat pa ni siya, coastal ecosystem, this is the area nga naay high tide and low tide, no, ang littoral zone. Kung sa coastal area, marine, no, marine environment, mo ni ang naay high tide na ay low tide, no. So nga ano gyud bitaw kanang ma-distinguish gyud ba nga kung low tide gyud, no. Kung high tide gyud siya na ay tubig. So same also in the lakes nga napo siya littoral zone that during rainy season, no, muapaw gyud ang tubig, but during summer, no, so ma-expose na i-part nga ma-expose, no, kay walay tubig. So that's what we call the littoral zone, and littoral zone are the nutrient rich area, no, of the lake that are found close to the shore. So same also with marine, no? So high tide and low tide, diha mo nang gitawag nato nga littoral zone. Benthic zone, on the other hand, this is the bottom, no, of the lake where no sunlight can reach. So sa kuan naman, benthic zone, muna siya ang bottom of the lake where no sunlight, no, can reach sa bottom. Okay? So, dili na makapenetrate ang sunlight, no, sa bottom, because some lakes are how pila ang feet, no, lalum kaayo siya, no, sometimes more than 60 to 80, no, 80 feet, no, in terms of the depth, no. So mana dili na makapenetrate ang sunlight. Then in the lakes and ponds, some are natagitawag ang mga adaptations. So plants are floating algae and plants are located along the shoreline. So naay daghang mga algae, no, that are floating, okay, and mo bitaw na nga makita nato ang mga ponds and lakes kanung they are colored green, no, sa surface because of the algae, the planktons or the photosynthetic algae nga naa. So they are rich, they are floating on the surface of the water. That's why the water appears to be green in color. Sometimes brown, yellow to brown in color na because of the algae. Then animals live in or near the water. So we have here diatoms. This is a proteus, so another algae, the dinoflagellate, no, an algae. Okay, so then this is a platypus. Okay, this is an egg-laying mammal, and of course you have the crocodile, no, freshwater crocodile, or yeah. Then there are also mga alligators, no, present. So, what are the threats to lakes and ponds? So, all water systems are being polluted and degraded by human. No? So, lahat ng mga lakes, no, are being polluted and degraded by human. Sometimes the the lake becomes the septic tank, no, of the community. My gosh, no. May mo siyang septic tank ng community ang lake, no. So kay dili gusto maghimog septic tank, no. So dito labay ang hugaw sa lake. Okay, so polluted siya with human debris. Ma'am, biodegradable man na siya, ma'am. Yes, it's biodegradable, but it can pose health hazards, actually. No? Uh, in other countries, the lakes are parang a place for recreation, no? Na dito mga recreation, no, kaya mag-swimming, no, camping. But the problem are the garbage, no? Kanang ginabilin yung mga bottles, plastic cups, and other plastic containers, bottles na are being left there. So, nga na ay solid waste. Okay, so pollution. Okay. No? Then, marshes, on the other hand, no, we have marsh like brackish and freshwater. Kaning mga marshes, mo ni sila ang mura po same sila sa lake, no? Only that naalanggi mga uh, organisms na nga nagatubo, no? Like mga kahoy, no, nga tubo diri sa marsh nga kuan, and then mga other forms of one, and also it can be brackish. Kung may brackish, the salinity content is quite high, no, compared to the fresh water that the salinity is zero. So what are the uses of these mga marshlands? They are animal and plant homes, and they are also the carbon sink, no? And water recharge areas, no, removing pollutant. So here in Mindanao, we have the Agusan Marsh, no? Agusan Marsh, and I think also in Cotabato. So natay Agusan Marsh, no? So mo siya ang pinakadako, no, nga marshland, and ang, di ba, dire dadakpan to si Lolong katong pinakadako nga crocodile, no? But eventually Lolong died, no, because of pneumonia. Okay. So what are the plants that are present in the marsh area? So ingon ani, no, ang mga marshland. So naa siya mga askay nga mga sagbot, no, very shallow with land occasionally exposed. So unlike with the lake, nga lalom ang lake, no, and then walay ma-expose nga kuan sa tunga, no, but in marsh, no, na ay mga patches of land, no, na ay mga patches of land, then nanapoy tubig, then land, tubig, land, tubig. So mo na siyang marsh. Then saturated soil. Okay, low oxygen in water and soil, and there are what we call emergent plants. So these are emergent plants. Kani sila mga emergent plants na sila, no? So some parts are shallow, some parts are deep. Okay, and yes, so okay. Then we have mga swamps, no? Okay, swamp areas. So like this, no? Mga swampy, found on flat, poorly drained land. Okay, often near the uh, So, stream, no, kaning mga swamps. Okay. So these are also uh, home of different mga species. Okay, so what are the abiotic factors? No? Land soak because of poor drainage and the decay is slow. So therefore, the soil becomes acidic. In swamps, there are large trees, no, shrubs adapted to muddy soils. And mga bugs, we have mga sphagnum moss are dominant. Okay. So these are mga, you have the alligator present, no, mga birds, no? Okay. So what are the threats to wetlands? So sa mga threats ating mga lakes, rivers, mga ponds, swamps, marshes, no? Previous backfilling and clearing for farmland or development has been a concern. So, gimo siya nga mga farmlands, no? Gimo mga basakan, no? Sometimes these mga marshes are being filled, no? Gimo siya, gikuha na siya landfill, no? To accommodate expanding community population, no? So or gihimo siya nga kuan kay para na itaod ng mga industrial plants in that area kasi masayon man mag kuan, no, murag masayon no? So mana nga um, do you have some concern na magbuy ano? Okay. Okay, so previous dumani siya muna ko nga mas ano pa mag feel no nang la compare to mag kuan mag isa ni okay. Then we have rivers, no? Mga rivers. Okay, here in the Philippines we have Dagatag rivers, no? We have Davao River, Libuganan River, Tatuganay, Agusan, no? The Katiil River, the sa pang mga rivers nga nata. So, yeah. So at headwaters, usually cold and highly oxygenated, as it flows, it will broaden out, warm up, and this completely changes the uh, biota. No? So, ang rivers, no, kung dito sa taas, no, usually it is cold and highly oxygenated. No? So, sa makakita, hala, muro lagi kuan siya blue, no? Because it is highly oxygenated kaning nabitaw dapit sa mga waterfalls murag nga iyahang kuan nga lamang murag siya na ay kanang kung tanaw na to murag siya og kanang powder blue, no? Because it is highly oxygenated, but as it flows, no, it will broaden out and then sometimes it warms up, no? And na part na shallow, na part na medyo deep. Okay, so what are the adaptations of the plant and animals in the river? So the plants in the rivers are they have hold fast instead of root system na sila hold fast, and this hold fast tend to attach themselves into rocks so as not to be carried out by the current, no? So mo na ilahang adaptation, so they develop thick leaves, no, na sila mga thick leaves, and then Animals here are
Muna
very
ilalagyan sa
strong
Zoe.
swimmers, no? Mga very
Katulog pod
strong
kay
swimmers ang
dara
mga
pa
animals dire, no? So muna ilahang behavioral adaptations. They are very strong swimmers and sometimes they are mga burrowers. So meaning muadto sila sa ilalom, no? Musuksok sila sa ilalom. Okay? Para dili sila madala sa current. So the adaptations vary based on where in the river they are. No? At the headwaters, organisms need to hang on. Mana nga, they are very, very strong swimmers so as not to be carried by the current. No? So, mga strong swimmers. Okay. So, what are the threats to rivers? No? Well, rivers where unsa na they are for industrial use, no, they are the water, okay, uses water to dispose of waste products. So ginagamit gina-rechannel karon ang flow sa river dito sa mga industries, okay, in order to dispose waste products. So mo na ang threat, isang threat, no. Then run off from homes kaning atong mga domestic waste, no, tanan dito na to gi pollute, dito na to gilabay tanan sa river, no, so causing changes in acidity and pollution. Then dams also alter the flow of the water, so we made dams, no, from the
dili
rivers,
mahilabtan si
okay.
Zoe.
These dams, no,
Ay
gina ano
gipatulog
siya, gina filter ang water, okay, for consumption, no, and domestic
gawas pa
use.
na si Zoe
Okay.
karon.
Mobita na Manila has two
Ipatulog ka
dams,
dira
no,
magdula
the
hinan ka.
Angat Dam and the other one. So mo sila ang nag-take turns of
Isa pa ha,
producing,
mugawas ko
supplying
ikaw ra isa diri.
water in Metro Manila. No? So biro mo, two dams ang nag-supply ng water, but still
Matulog pa
dili
ka dira.
ka
Tulog
maka-assure
man
nga
ka.
at this time 24 hours ang imuhang tubig, no, lagi time of the week nga kamo nga area wa mo'y tubig kay naa ang tubig sa other areas, okay, because of too much population and daghay nagagamit ng water. Estuaries on the other hand,
No,
sabi ni
balik
mga
na kay
estuaries
tubig,
mo ni ang gitawag nato nga bukana, no, kanang magsugat ang salt water ug ang fresh water, no, mo ni mga bukana, estuarine or estuary. Fresh and salt water meet, no, and what are plant and animals adapted in estuary. So, very productive bio because it receives lots of light and nutrients. No? Often used as nursery for mga young nga mga animals. So, mga manatee and goose, no? Are in sometimes na sila diri sa mga estuaries, no, na sila sa
isbog
estuaries.
dito be. Isbog dito be. Ay
Okay.
dira.
So manatee, no, kapamilya po din sila sa dugong, no. Okay, so katong dugong is purely marine dito sila. Manatee, they can be in estuary, no. Pwede nga parat, pwede po sila nga alanganin parat, alanganin po nga fresh water. So manatees are common, no, in the estuarine environment. Okay.
Puyo dira. Tog.
So what are the threats to estuarine? So of course, mga pantalan, no? Many ports are found on estuaries, no? So pollution, no, is also a threat, no, to estuary. Okay. Then here in the Philippines, the bukana, no, diha kasagaran po nagapuyo ang mga tao. Daghay mga tao nga nagpuyo diha sa bukana, no? So mo na nga polluted, the area becomes polluted, no, because of human population. Kaya wala may titulo, no? They can just live there freely. Kaya why titulo, walay renta, no? Okay, so but they are susceptible to flooding. Okay. So we have now the coral reefs. So the coral reef uh, is the richest communities in the world. No? Okay, so this is found in the marine environment. Okay, so the coral reef ecosystem is the home of 99% of all the animals, invertebrates and vertebrates. So, dili na to makita sa coastal ecosystem. So, they are very close to equator and they have a consistent water temperature. So, the water are shallow, okay, and low in nutrients. No? So, corals tend to grow in warmer climates. Kaya nga, Philippines, meron tayong coral reef. And somewhere in Australia, yung the Great Barrier Reef, yung Barrier Reef, siya yung pinaka-largest among the world, no? Okay, so, yun. So, close to equator sila. What are the adaptations of animals in the coral reef? No? So, breeding area for many fish. No? So, muna nga, dili yun dapat dauton ang coral reef because they are the breeding areas of many important mga fish. No? Muna class nga karon nga nung mahal man kaayo ang mga kaning gitawag nato nga mga lapu-lapu ng mga isda mo yung kag isda sa bato ang naday sa tong nauna mahal. Yes, because nga naman gamay na lang man ilang population because the coral reef are destroyed, no? Mas mahal pang isda kaysa karning baboy o karning baka. Okay, so these are the breeding area for many fish. And then the ecosystem, no, in the coral reef starts with the phytoplankton. Phytoplanktons are being eaten by the zooplankton, and zooplankton are being eaten by small fish or invertebrates. And then from small fishes to big fish, then to large fish, or the top predators can be the
Basta
shark,
makuha naman
no,
to
the
ganyan to
sharks
topak
or
dili.
the killer whales, no, so they are known to be the top predators of the marine environment. Okay, so ito yung mga phytoplanktons and the zooplankton, no? And they're being eaten by fish. Okay, what are the threats to the coral reef? Temperature is very important for the coral reef, no? Because too hot or too cold, the animals can't live there to create limestone. So, mana dapat warm. Dili kayo init, dili pud kaayo pugnaw. So, that is the ideal temperature for the coral reef to create itself a limestone. No? Ilahang exoskeleton. Kay ang by the way, corals are animals. They're not plants. No? Now you know. Corals are animals. They are not plants. Okay? No? So, oh, bantay bitaw na imo ingon. Unsa ng coral reef? Plants ma pag sure. They are corals, no? Okay. So, the threats of coral reefs are human. No? Mga human. Okay? Uh, it can be because of how for kanang sa recreation, no? Oo, na nasira because of scuba diving, no? So human tend to step on those corals, pollution, siltation, no? Kasi wala na mangrove, wala na seagrass, kay gi-strip off, kay gihimong resort. So all the sands, no? Padulong dito sa corals. So, na ay siltation, no? Heavy siltation. So, namatay ang corals, no? Kaya nalubong na siya sa lako. Okay. Then, pollution is also a concern. Okay? Yung ating mga domestic waste, no? Kani atong mga cosmetics, no? Atong mga sabon, no? Dito tanan padulong sa dagat and they poison our coral reef. So, causing coral bleaching and eventually they will die. No? So, kung mamatay sila, of course, wala na chance, no? Nga ang uban nga mga organisms and fishes kuan sa coral, maka-benefit sa coral because coral reefs are the breeding ground, the feeding ground of these mga valuable fishes and invertebrates. Okay. Then we have oceans. So man kalahiran ng coastal, ma'am, og oceans. Oceans kaninang mga dagko, no? And mga laglom na ni sila compared to the coastal. Kung yung coastal, that is near to land. Okay, near to land. No? But ang oceans naman is kanina, like Pacific Ocean, no? Indian Ocean. Kanina, ano sa mga laglom na ni sila class, no? Oh. So, what are the bakit tinatawag siya na least productive areas of Earth? Because too little sunlight to support plant growth. So, wala naman. Wala mong kayo makita dito mga mangrove in the middle of the ocean. No, wala na kayo makita dito. No? Wala kayo makita ditong mga seagrass dito or corals in the middle of the ocean. No, you can see any. No? So they covers nearly 3/4 of the Earth's surface. Muna makaingon nga, they are least productive areas on Earth because too little sunlight can support life. No? Kapag tanaw pa lang ni mo blue na kaayo siya. So water sunlight cannot penetrate, no, dito sa ocean bottom because pila na sila ka thousands of feet, no? Okay, ang kalaw mo. So, ocean plant adaptations. Plants are micro and macroscopic. No? Mga micro and macroscopic. So, pag minunta og microscopic, first, planktons, no, are present. They're floating. And they're also macroscopic, like the kelp, no? Mga floating plants, no? Mga kung natay mura po ni sila og ang katason sa kelp, no? Mura po ni sila og kuan kanang kahoy katag-as, no? Okay, so they are located kung mayroon nga ocean, medyo sa shallower part ng ocean. Pero kung mayroon shallower part of the ocean, pila na nakataos ka meters deep, no? So let's say mga 30 meters. So, taas na kayo ng 30 meters, no? Pero shallow pa na siya sa ocean. No? 30 meters, shallow pa na siya sa ocean. When we talk about ocean, no? So, mana nga diha nagatubo ang maning mga kelps, no? Kaya makapenetrate pa ang tubig. But other than that, no? So, wala na. But there are also mga kani, no? So, sa ocean bottom, no? Okay. These are not coral reefs, but they are considered to be mga worms, no? Okay, and they can ang ilang source of energy now is the mga kaning mga kuan sa gibuga, no, sa ocean vents, no? Warm, init nga mga ginabuga sa ocean vents. So wala na may oxygen diri, but they use that kaning ocean kaning gibuga sa ocean vents, no, as their source of energy. Okay. So ocean animal adaptations like zooplankton, the sea's smallest herbivores, no? And these zooplankton are being eaten, no, by small fish. Small fish are being eaten by big fish, then large predators. So we have the hammerhead sharks. No? Deep ocean animals are fed on detritus and floating debris in the water column. Okay. What are the threats to the oceans? Well, the oceans are vast. They are becoming more polluted. No? So, minsan, no, yung mga vessels, no, abi nila og land to, pero sus Ginoo, mountains of floating debris, particularly plastics, no? So, grabe, no, murag barko kadagko ang mga tons of plastic nga naa sa dagat. Okay, no? So pollution ang pinaka kalaban ng ocean, no? Pinang threat to oceans. Okay. Overfishing, no? And some methods are destroying the fishing ground. Kay kani man good class kung ocean na to hisgutan, makuha na nato diri kaninang mga pelagic nga mga fishes, no? Kani mga dagko na kayo nga mga isda like tuna, no, the tuna family. So kasi ang tuna dili man na siya sa isda sa bato, no, but they are pelagic. our tuna can even reach up to Indonesia, no, Malaysia, no. So mo na ilahang mga areas. So Pacific Oceans, no. So mga tuna and tuna-like, no, nga mga species. So there, mga dagko na kaayo ni sila. Okay. So they overfishing, no, can destroy also the fishing. Okay. So we have polar ecosystems, no. Polar are those in the North Pole, the South Pole, no, where the physical environment is inhabitable, no? But still there are organisms that live there, like the polar bears, no? So can be considered also as marine ecosystem since the base of the food chain is a phytoplankton. So amazing, no? Polar ecosystem can be considered a marine ecosystem since the base of the food chain is the phytoplankton. Okay. No? So, ang phytoplankton are eaten by zooplankton. Zooplankton are eaten by the small fish, and fish eaten by the big fish, and the big fish eaten by the polar bears, and at seals, and human. No? Okay. So, Arctic versus Antarctic. Ang Arctic polars are relatively shallow, lots of nutrients for large variety of animals in food web. People, seals, and polar bears are found here in the Arctic. In the Antarctic, Antarctica, the penguins live here, only continent not used by humans. Okay? Other than for research purposes. Kay lisod na kayo sa Antarctica. No? Aside from kuan ka, prone ka to katong usa na yung sa ozone, no, kasi dito mga part no ay dako kaayo nga buslot sa ozone, no. So and of course inhabitable gid siya class, no, sa Antarctica. Okay, so mo na nga penguins are living here, and the only continent not used by humans other than research, no? Other than research. So naay mga tao dito pero those are mga scientists, no, naga-conduct of research, mga astronomers, no, because they are collecting mga meteorites, no. Okay, and yeah, dito nga part. So, what are the threats to the polar ecosystem? Reserves of minerals draw humans to this fragile ecosystem. So, the main threat to wildlife has been the increase in tourism and garbage left behind. Okay, gusto lagi mo tanaw ano yung mga kuan. So, of course, they open for tourism, but in exchange of garbage, no? So mo gini problema maskin asa kung naay tourism na ay garbage, unless kung kabalo mang hinlo ang okay. Kamuting kasama laka. Okay, then okay, so that ends, no, our discussion on the biomes of the earth and the water, fresh and marine water ecosystem. Do you have some questions, clarifications? Na may mga pangutana regarding the ano?
Naan na po, gurong.
Nine. Okay, so next week, no, just be ready with whatever quiz that I will give you, and we will still meet virtual and face to face, no, kasi medyo na delay tayo ng konti because of, di ba, nagkaduha o katong mga nag-charter data, nag-rest, then nanapoy holiday, no, and ako po on the other hand, no, na ay pinalive ng mga meetings, no, nga need og urgent nga response and kuan. So mo na. So actually I have a meeting after this, no. Okay, sa AVR. Okay. So I think that is all for now. Thank you so much. God bless everyone. Have a blessed weekend.